Welcome to another episode of Dreaming About Travel podcast.
I would love to go on a vacation.
Bringing you our perspective on travel news, featured places to visit and explore, traveling tips, and much, much more. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to travel along with us. So, where do you want to go? This is the Dreaming About Travel podcast.
All right. So, welcome to Dreaming About Travel. This is episode 102. Again, this is Carl Duncan from Dream Vacations in Fort Lauderdale, joined by Charlotte Trodden from...
Hello.
How are you, Charlotte?
Fantastic. Excited for our second podcast. This is going to be great.
Too. This is great. And, you know, is the weather still as fantastic as it was last time up there in New Hampshire?
Still 98 and sunny. We have 2 weeks before winter hits, so I'm going to enjoy it.
Well, and I'm sure that you're getting a lot of people interested in traveling because of that snow that might be hitting up there, right?
We are already trying to tell people to book for February so that they can keep this going into the winter.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm hearing the same thing down here because, you know, in Florida we get really cold weather.
Yeah,
so,
you poor thing. I mean, I heard it gets, down to 50?
Yeah, if we're lucky.
Aww.
Hey, you know, we can't all have ice and snow, you know. So.
Well, we're coming to you. Here we come.
There you go. That works. So I thought I'd start off this week. Why don't you tell us what your article from the news has been for this week?
So I am super excited about this one. Universal Studios in Orlando announced during their business conference today that they are going to be opening an entirely brand new park on their Universal property. It's going to be about 10 minutes away from their main campus. And it's going to be over 750 acres of a new park, which is essentially doubling the size of Universal.
Wow. That's a big park.
Huge. It's huge. So we have very little details right now. They basically just said where dreams and movies, any dreams and movies you can imagine will come to life. So the internet has been buzzing with rumors of what is coming. And kind of the top seems to be that it's going to be a mix of Harry Potter magical creatures, How to Train Your Dragon, Universal Monsters, and Super Nintendo World.
Wow.
Are the mixes of what people think this park is going to consist of.
Yeah,
and
I was just going through my head.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I was going through my head around some of the movies and stuff that might be in some of those parks because I'm trying to think of all the Universal films that are out there. So
it's going to be enormous. They said it's going to be the most amount of, they're investing more money into this one park than they have into all their other Universals combined.
Wow. That's just incredible.
So I am so excited. It's definitely going to be worth the trip down there.
I can imagine. Definitely. And I'm sure you'll be there as soon as it opens, right?
Absolute. Day one. I'll be using my Express Pass.
And since you're talking about traveling down here to actually go see that park, you know, this might actually help you with my news story for this week because the FAA has actually approved a new seat design for airplanes that they're going to test where they're actually giving a little bit more seat space, they say, for that middle seat.
Now, what are you saying, Carl? I need more seat space?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying because I'm a big guy, so I know that, you know, sitting in that middle seat with, you know, other people, I'm really cramped and I feel like I can't move my arms. And supposedly this new design allows you to be a little bit more comfortable and spread out a little bit more. So it'll be interesting to see how it actually works.
Did they say what is going to be different? Because I'm assuming they're not making the planes any bigger.
Yeah, they definitely are not making the plane bigger. What they're supposed to do is apparently this company has been working on this for several years now, but they will put that middle seat and have it sit back a few inches compared to the other two seats. And that's 21-inch width somehow. And it's like a staggered seat setting basically is what they're doing. And that's supposed to give you what normally it's 18 inches for each seat, but with that new staggering, it expands it to 21 inches. So
look at that. The middle seat's going to be like a wanted seat now.
That's exactly what they're saying. You know, a lot of the news organizations that are reporting on this are saying that, you know, this is going to try and make that middle seat the more coveted seat now instead of an aisle or a window.
That's actually exciting because I always get the middle seat when traveling with the family.
You got to put the kids in the middle now. You know?
It's tough when they get bigger than you.
Exactly. You can't move them as easily, right?
Oh, that's odd. Did they say when those are supposed to start?
So they're going to start with about 50 planes. They didn't give an exact date yet as to when they want to start it, but they're going to try. I think it's by the end of 2020 they want to try to get 50 aircraft with it, but no exact dates yet as to when.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yep, I'm excited about it just to try it out. So now our main topic for this week, though, is actually we wanted to talk about Danube and river cruising and AMA Waterways and a recent trip that we took down the river, or actually up the river, leading from Budapest. And I thought we could kind of recap the trip that we did because I know you watched it as we were posting some of the photos and videos along the way, and just give some highlights of some of the great things that we saw. So that way people can experience, if they haven't done the river cruise yet, maybe get a little bit of an idea of what it's about. So.
Yeah, and I'm super excited that you're doing it on AMA because I know that a lot, including myself, like river cruises tend to be towards older generations, but AMA is one that you can book through Disney Adventures.
Yep.
And and those bookings are just for families and kids. So this is like the one river cruise line that I'm really excited to hear more about since we can do it for all generations.
Yeah, definitely. And that's a great reminder. I totally forgot about the Adventures by Disney partnership that they have. And so they have some amazing itineraries, not just the Danube that we're going to talk about today, but there's some amazing on the Rhone. You've got the Rhine, so you can see a lot of different places throughout Europe with river cruising. And for those that haven't done it, before doing river cruising, I was always an ocean cruiser and was always like, it sounds like it's going to be too slow of a pace for me. And
right.
And honestly, I got to be honest, that was one of the biggest misconceptions I had about river cruising. And it's actually not slow pace. I mean, there are down times that you can have, but it's actually a very active, type of trip. So, the one we took, like I said, was on the Danube. It's considered what they call the romantic Danube itinerary. We happened to start in Budapest, which is an amazing city. I actually would love to live there, actually, to be honest with you. But I'd probably get shot. I'd probably get shot if I moved there. But
let's not have that. But no, I hear that over and over. As my son went for his school trip this year, and Budapest was his favorite of all the countries he went to.
Yeah, I heard that, that from him, and saw the photos. He had an amazing time too. And so Budapest has some really great things to see. You got both sides. You got the Pest side, you got the Buda side. You've got some of the amazing baths there that you can go and check out. There's just the history of the country itself. There's a lot of Jewish heritage throughout that area. And one of the things we actually visited was this amazing horse farm, which breeds and trains horses for a lot of different contests. And some of their contests that they have, it's not the normal thing like you're thinking of here in the U.S. where it's just, the Kentucky Derby and that kind of thing. But they actually do where they have people riding on the horses, throwing spears at targets and shooting arrows at targets. They have chariot races as well. And so it's a really fun thing of the whole heritage.
That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's just incredible looking at the heritage of Hungary. And you also have, the Castle District, which is, got some really amazing medieval monuments and museums up there. You've got the Parliament, which is right visible from the river, which is amazing, especially at night. You get some incredible things. And one of the things they do is, take you down the Danube in Budapest, leaving at night so you can see all the amazing city lights and how the Parliament is lit up. And it's just incredible.
That's it. Now, did you see most of this stuff through excursions, or were you walking around on your own? Yeah,
so the beauty, we actually went in a couple days ahead of time, and I definitely recommend anybody, if you're starting there, spend at least 2 days ahead of time in Budapest. You can get some amazing hotels right on the river there that give you a great view of the river, and they're close to everything. The nice thing is, if you stay on the Pesh side, you're very close to where you're going to board the ship, and then you can walk around the town. It's a very walkable area there. There's amazing restaurants. We went to one that's called Urban Mateer, and they actually have a little museum down in the basement of the restaurant, which has some historical stuff in there. It's really cool to see. And then we also did several tours with AMA. That also took us, that was the horse farm, that was through AMA. And then we did another one with them as well. And so you got to see some amazing UNESCO heritage stuff with them.
Nice.
And then our second day, spent on the river was going through Bratislava, Slovakia. And you don't get to spend a lot of time there, but this is like a miniature, they kind of call it miniature Vienna. It's like a much smaller version of it. And it's definitely, it's got the nickname of Coronation City of Kings. And they'll do a nice little walking tour where you get to see the city and experience it. Everything's very condensed, so it's much a very walkable city. And then they also have another optional tour that you can do, which is Taste of Slovakia, which also includes some of the food and wines and so forth of that area. And I think that's a really great experience as well.
That's cool. That's probably where you'd find me.
Yeah, I think so.
Food and wine. I could go do some research over there.
Yep, definitely. And then Vienna was next up, and Vienna is known as the city of waltzes. And one of the cool things now, when you dock there, you're not right in the city center like you are for most of the other the different ports that you stop along the way. This one, you're actually about maybe 10 to 15 minutes by car or van to get to the city center. But there's an amazing opera house there. And one of the tours, it does cost a little bit of extra money, but there's usually a concert that you can go to for Mozart. And it's usually only a small crowd, and it's very intimate. And you really get to hear some amazing sounds of music there. So.
That sounds beautiful.
It definitely is. And then, of course, you could also, go and tour the city and do, other things besides that. We did a city tour that showed us, the palace there and several of the other sites that you want to see, such as Ring Road. And, there's a lot of monuments and parks there. So definitely there's some great things that you can do when you're in Vienna as well.
Now, you were in each of these places for one full day?
Yep. Exactly. Well, not necessarily a full day in all of them. Like I said, for Slovakia, we were only there for a portion of the day. Vienna, we were definitely there overnight and part of the day. So you had a nice experience of different things there. And then we go after that. You go to Wissenkirchen, which is another nice Austrian city, and you get to spend a little bit of time. There, looking at, there's a Benedictine Abbey there. There's also Dresden, which is nearby. So you get to go visit that city. There's a lot of cobblestone streets there. You can go to Melk, which is where the Abbey is, and some amazing, views when you go to the Abbey. It's just incredible to see that. And they also usually do like a bike tour too when you're in that section. So if you want to ride your bike around the town, you could do that as well.
Oh, that's fun. I like active activities.
Definitely, yeah, it's a lot of fun if you want to do that. And then after that, we actually visited Linz in Austria, and so you've also got. We actually took a full day excursion to Salzburg from Linz.
Oh, and, nice.
Got to experience the sound of music. It was wonderful.
Were the hills alive?
The hills were definitely alive.
Excellent.
Got some amazing photos of the hills and the mountains there. I mean, it's just incredible. The village is just amazing to see. It's very walkable. A lot of history there, and if you're not able to do a lot of walking, they also have the train tour that takes you up. So that's a really nice feature as well.
And that was, so what were other people doing in the actual town that didn't take that excursion out there?
So you typically would walk throughout the whole town. And there's like several different sections of the town that you can see. It's got a lot of great overlooks of the rivers. You have different portions of various rivers. And then you also have some amazing historical sites as well.
Nice.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, that's what I like about those river cruises is that you can get tucked into little ports that the big ships can't make it into.
exactly, yeah, it's just amazing. The one thing you got to be careful of is the water level, obviously. And right now, the water level's been pretty good for most of the ships, but there are some times where the water level's a little low. But the cruise lines do an amazing job whenever that comes into play. So, and then we also visited Passau and Wilshofen. And then when we were in Wilshofen, we actually had this amazing Oktoberfest, even though it wasn't October, dinner and, kind of like celebration with the mayor of Wilshofen was there. They had, we had this amazing beer that we were, tasting there and sampling. And then participation, from a lot of the guests and the dancing and the music. And it was just a lot of fun. We had a ton of pretzels as well because the pretzels are real popular there. So we really enjoyed every single minute of that. I think on that entire cruise, I took probably close to 3,000 or 4,000 photos and probably about 100 or so videos. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's just amazing. The churches, all that kind of stuff that you see along the way. It's just a really incredible thing. And then one of the things I would say too is to let everybody know. A lot of times I hear from people that I talk about river cruising with, and they're like, "Well, I'm not able to keep up with a fast-paced group if they're walking, and things like that." And a lot of river cruise lines, AMA especially, offer a couple different options for that. And so you have your slow walkers, which is a great tour, and I actually took that tour just to experience it the entire time of the cruise. And the interesting thing about it is everybody thinks that the slow walkers are not going to see as much. The slow walker group actually saw probably more than some of the fast walkers because.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because some of the trip, you get bussed into another section, whereas everybody has to walk that other distance, and you actually got a little minibus that took you up there, or a little train, and so you got to see a little bit more than some of the other walkers. And then you also have like your medium walkers, and then you also have a fast walkers group. So depending on how fast you want to walk, there's always an option for you as well.
I'm a medium. I like medium.
I like that too. It was great on the slow walkers, but definitely I'm probably more medium on a regular.
Yeah, I don't need to be in a competition on my vacation, but medium is good.
I thought
I was just
you were going to a 5K.
Well, I made that mistake once on an island. I don't. That was not fun. So I was just thinking, as you were talking about, you went north up the Danube, right?
That's correct.
So would you suggest it, or do you think it made a difference if you were port side or starboard side? Did anybody see more?
No, I think, because the river cruise ships only have a couple decks, they're typically 3 decks high, maybe 4, you don't really have too big of an issue because you can go up to the top deck and see everything when you want to. And, I think either side, it depends on, you're always going to see something on either side of the ship. So depending on where you are in the river, there might be something that's, going to be on the left side, something that might be on the right side, but, you can always go up top and see everything. And I spent most of my time up top as we were going down the river because, you see a lot of great things that way. And, one of the cool things I liked was going under the bridge so you can actually see when you go under the bridges and, view that. The other thing is the locks as they fill up and so forth. You want to get up top on the top of the river cruise ship to kind of see that in action. And so it gives you some really good things to watch.
Cool. Good. I will book any room then.
Yeah, definitely. And, the other thing is, they have obviously different sizes and different types. The one we had was a balcony with a French balcony also. So you had both types of balcony built into it, which is a really neat feature. Even the people that had, just a window view, the window views, you're not going to get a great view, obviously, but because that window is a little bit high up on the cabin there, because the rest of the cabin's below water level. But, it's still, like I said, you can just go up top deck, or one of the other decks, where they have like the lounge and so forth, and you can still get some really great views. The other thing is, I would say we also did a post trip, which we went to Prague and spent another 2 days there, and had some additional, tours and great, location in the city. So we also went on our own and did some walking, ate at some amazing restaurants there. So you definitely, I recommend also taking a little bit of extra after the cruise and spending some time in Prague if you go that route.
Yeah, and who wants vacation to end that quickly anyways?
Exactly. You got to keep, going. I personally, I probably would have done like a 30-day cruise if I had the time, but I didn't have that time this time.
All right. Well, I'm ready to book you whenever you want to make that cruise happen.
Sounds good. All right. So that was a really fun trip. And I recommend anybody, that's looking to do or ever thought about a river cruise, or maybe even if you hadn't and you want to see Europe, I think it's a really great way to do it. It's a much, nice, slower paced cruise, but as far as the activities go, you get to see a lot. We had some amazing ice cream as well, or gelato, when we were there, and saw just so many amazing things that I definitely recommend it for anybody.
So you missed something really important that I've been waiting to hear about.
What's that?
How was the food on the river cruise?
Oh man, let's say. So Jerry actually got to know one of the chefs really well, and was first in line for ice cream every day.
Nice.
Because they had freshly made ice cream on the ship, which was just incredible. And then, the meals were very good. So breakfast is typically a buffet. You can, do some options like an omelet and so forth, where they have omelet station, which was really good. Then they did lunch pretty much every day, except for the days that, we were on tour. We ate those out on the tour most of the time, but they did have a lunch on the ship if you wanted it. And then the dinners were just incredible. And some of the best, and I know you love wine, we got to experience local regional wines from all the different ports that we were in. So we were constantly trying new styles of wine and flavors. And one night we even had a sommelier on the ship to actually go through the wines with us for the winery that he owns. And it was just an amazing to experience all those tastes.
Was that all included? Were those extras?
So that was all included. Yep, the food
Nice.
is actually included. Now, drinks, we had a happy hour time, and some of the dinner, some of your drinks are included with the dinner.
Okay.
But, they also have a bar that you can purchase drinks at, other times. So whether it's beer or hard liquor, you can get any of those drinks, and they charge a nominal fee for each drink. So
that's exciting. All right. I don't know. Maybe I will go on a river cruise sooner than I thought I would.
I think you definitely should. Now, you had a did you know fact that I thought you were going to go over with us today. What was that?
Okay, so people are going to start to judge me because you said I like wine, but mine is about wine. So I found that there is a town just south of Rome in Italy called Abruzzo, and in the center of the town, instead of a water fountain, they have a wine fountain with it's a nice Montepulciano wine, and it flows in the fountain. Just picture like a big water fountain that comes up and over, and it's red wine, and it is no charge to anybody that visits, and it's unlimited, and a fun experience next time you're in Italy.
That sounds really cool. I was picturing the Fountain of Youth until you said
That's another stop.
Although if I drink enough wine, I might look like I'm young again, right?
Or you might think you're 20 and behave that way.
Exactly.
Either way, it's a win. I consider this a win.
And my did you know was, I actually had mentioned it earlier when we were talking about the cruise, but a lot of people don't realize with the river cruising that there are different levels of activity in it. So you don't have to feel like you have to run a marathon to go see every single thing out there. there are slower pace tour options and so forth. So really, no matter who you are, whatever age you are, there's usually a pretty good option for you when it comes to river cruising. So definitely recommend people to check that out.
Cool. I'm definitely going to be checking it out.
Awesome. Well, Charlotte, I just want to thank you again for helping me talk about river cruising today. And I think we would love if anybody has any questions or any other things they would love us to talk about on future episodes. Feel free to reach out to us. You can send an email to kduncan@dreamvacations.com. So that's KDUNCAN @dreamvacations.com. Or you can reach out to Charlotte at C.Trodden, TRODDYN @dreamvacations.com. And we'll be glad to add it into a future episode. And you can also, feel free to give us any comments that you have about this episode. And we'd love to hear from you. So we look forward to talking to you again soon and our next episode. So take care, everyone, and keep dreaming about travel.
Goodbye, everyone.